We'll just go right back to the
Camp attention, Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2.
Well, hey there, everyone. We had kind of a bumpy start. I hope the rest of the year goes just fine. Okay. And we're gonna dive into a lot of really cool subjects, but I want to thank Mike for joining us. Looks like they're all filling into the room there. That's really good. And we're gonna talk a little bit about all kinds of stuff. There's some funny things that have been going on in this world of ScouterStan. So funny, crazy things. And I'm sorry for being a little late. I didn't hit the button right. I thought it said it was started. So leave it to me to hit the wrong button.
It's glad that I have this up on my phone as well as two screens here to
Yes. Yeah, I have it on another screen, but it popped. It just went boop. I was like, whoa. So I thought everything was fine. So I just kept going. So, oh well, it's been a busy month. I hope that everything went well with your Thanksgiving. That's something that we should be thankful, and that's one of those things. In Eagle Scout Boards of Review, we often talk about how they need to be thankful to people in their lives, getting them to that moment to have an Eagle Board of Review. So being thankful, and I'm thankful about scouting and thankful for everyone on the channel. I'm really thankful for Mike helping out because it was hard getting to this point. And there's lots to be thankful for. And scouting, it is one of those stable things in our lives. And what's really nice about it is we can be thankful for being there, being so stable with those scout values. And that's the critical point regarding scouting and how, yes, things change. Uniforms, patches, what have you, all that kind of stuff can change. But you want to make sure that the scout values are still there. And that's what we should be extra thankful for. So now that we're into the Christmas season and wrapping up our season 11, which we've had a good time with, I was just telling Mike about a very funny instance with Google. Google actually sent me a note saying that they were considering taking one of my videos down. Apparently, the Fireman Chit video that was out there, the auto translator was not getting the part with chit, CHIT. They were saying that I had a potty mouth. So I had to go online and make sure the translation was right. So apparently the translator didn't understand, and I have a strange accent anyways. So, but that being the case, we got it all straightened out. And of course, we wouldn't put that out there. No. So, But if you find something on the channel that you're interested in, please let us know. This would be a great place to answer questions. And if, of course, you can definitely give us a thumbs up. That helps with the algorithm. That lets them know that, hey, people are watching this. They actually saw this. And this is true for the live show and when you watch it recorded. And even if you are watching it recorded, we do not edit this. So this is like live to you. So and the second reason we don't edit is so that the comments are still there. Now, that's one of those big points. A lot of the comments would be lost if we took off the ending or the beginnings and did some editing. So we leave it the way it is. So this is truly a live experience. And as you can tell from its shaky beginning, rely on me to push the big red button, So, it just happens. Well, Mike, do we have any questions so far? Or are we just looking at?
Well, yeah, I think we have several people joining us.
Awesome.
Relantel, a frequent viewer
Oh,
of
yeah.
the channel, says happy Thanksgiving all.
Very much.
David says evening all. Relantel said he's had a busy scouting fall.
Oh, yeah. A lot of scouts are trying to get done by the end of the year. So fall has been a big thing, really working on it.
And I wouldn't be fulfilling my moderator duties if I didn't ask everyone watching this to please hit the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Like this video. It will, in the Google algorithm, they show it to more people if it gets more thumbs up. So that will help other people find it.
True. Very true.
Roaming Scouters is such
Awesome.
language, of course. It's the computerized language recognition.
Oh my gosh.
Software doesn't do well with words that are very specialized and used in a rare
very
context.
similar words. So,
yeah,
I had that problem with one on I think it was Totem Chip. That had a very close word. I'm gonna have to go through the script of this. I just realized. Oh my gosh! Yeah. I'm gonna have to go through the dialogue and make sure that I don't get don't do that.
The script of this video. So I think the roaming scouter just had a comment that I put up on the screen. I want to give a shout out to. He has a channel that's one of the greatest new channels, YouTube channels on scouting.
Awesome.
It's mostly Cub Scout stuff. It's really well done stuff. So anyone watching this channel, please check out the Roaming Scouter. It's a very well done channel.
I was stunned by it. It is fantastic videos. I'm grateful that he's here. So if you have a question for him, you can put it in the comments. We'll field it across and maybe he can answer it. But it is amazing all the different channels that are coming up for scout leaders. And this channel started so many years ago, and it was really for scout leaders in my own district, in my own area. And then it kind of grew from there to the whole country. And being a unit commissioner at heart, this is something that I firmly believe in. The scout leaders that watch those videos, watch videos about putting up tents or working with scouts with special needs, or those are the special leaders. And I wanted to be there to kind of help them along and get more information. That's been the goal of our channel for a very long time. So and I always refer to it as our channel. And that is really what it should be. And if you have a question or a concern or something coming up that you just aren't getting an answer to in your area, please put it in the comments. I will see it. So that is very, very important to me that those comments are kept that way. The way the seasons work, so that you don't think that there's something weird going on, is that this is season 11 right now. So during season 11, everything from mid 10 to present would be wide open. Okay. You can put comments in there. Of course, they're filters from Google. So, it's going to be nice comments that most leaders won't object to. Okay. So that's in there. But everything prior to that, all the way back to season 1, I put it on a hold because I want to see it before it's put out there, because there's a lot of channels that have had problems with old videos getting nasty, getting really bad comments and angers and so kind of things that might happen. So that I want to make sure stays held so that I can review it. And before it actually goes live, it's usually 24 hours it goes up. So keep that in mind as you go through the catalog of videos. We have a few, and definitely go through them. And there's a lot of new stuff coming down the road as far as videos for season 12. We're working on that. And there's always room for suggestions. So if you have a video idea, some issue, something you think that's not clear, maybe we should do a video. And that way others, because if you have that issue, others do too. So I've always believed in the group think kind of thing, where if one person says something, asks a question, that means there's a whole lot of people who didn't raise their hand, didn't make the comment, didn't give the feedback. So there's a whole lot of other ones that have the exact same question. So I need to hear from you. I need to hear information back from people viewing the videos. If you have a question, comment, concern, any feedback, please let me know. That is a critical thing about our channel. You got a question for me, don't you? I can tell.
Well, we have a couple comments. Nimrod Diaries, good evening all.
Mm-hmm.
And good evening, sir, to Roaming Scouter.
Awesome.
Grant Seaton, good day, everyone, from a Queen Scout from New Zealand.
Wow.
So what time is it in New Zealand? It's probably middle of Sunday afternoon.
Well, they're on the other side of the line, so they're a day ahead of us.
Is it already Monday?
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing about it. They're on the other side of that date line, so
I suppose
they're always a day ahead of us. They're ahead of us all the time. So,
yeah,
literally. So,
Nimrod Diaries, referring to the Roaming Scouter. He's rocking his channel. Be sure to check it out.
Yes, everyone should definitely go in there, subscribe to his channel. I had somebody ask me that question: how much does it cost to be a subscriber? Nothing.
Yeah.
There's no cost to be a subscriber. And you can choose your notification. You can be a subscriber with no notification. So you can do that in Google. And but definitely subscribing to a channel doesn't mean you're obligated in any way. It's just easier to find us once you are. You can go through your subscription channels, all the channels that you have. I've had people tell me, I think I did a survey, and they were telling me that when you subscribe and don't put any notifications, that it fills up your home page on Google, on YouTube, which is Google. So it is not, that doesn't actually occur that way. It depends on your notification. So if you have ring the bell 100% of the time, and you have that all set up in your system, then yes, it might be in that feed. But I only produce stuff once a week, so I'm an active volunteer. I'm the advancement chair for my district, and it's a sizable district. And I was telling Mike that I've got Eagle boards to do, and I've got a lot of stuff that needs to be done before the end of the year, because a lot of scouts want to wrap it up. They're off to college or a career or boot camp or something, and they want to get that Eagle done. They've got all the requirements finished and they're verified and ready to go. So they need to do that board review. That is one of the videos that's coming up in season 12. I've mentored a lot of scouts, And I would highly recommend that if you are mentoring a scout, to go through the mentoring course that we have here on the channel. It's a 5, maybe it's 6 different videos about that process. There's different phases for a mentor. And that hasn't really changed a whole lot. So it's been on there for a long time. They talk about the Eagle Court of Honor, which is the presentation of the eagle and all that kind of stuff. There's a video for that. Then there's an eagle about an episode and a video through the episodes that actually has one on the application, one on the project, one on the actual board review. Now, this is set up for adults, and through this process, we want to make sure the youth, there's no secrets or anything. There's no secrets in scouting. So youth can watch it, but it's better for the mentor to really watch and go through that process and learn about mentoring young people to Eagle. These life scouts need that mentor. I believe yes, they are changing mentor to coach. I think that's on some of their paperwork, but coach, mentor, these are just terms that are used for adults to actually help life scouts achieve all of those goals that they have set for themselves, and make sure that they do it in a logical order. Sometimes they never get past phase 1. They've run out of time. And I'm amazed how many young people are totally shocked that they're turning 18. I'm shocked. Okay. There's a lot going on in their lives, a lot of, high school band and football and all the distractions you could ever imagine. And then you throw in scouting. So that is something that this needs to be a goal that's set between the mentor and the life scout, so that those two can work together to really achieve that eagle. I've mentored a lot. I've mentored a lot of scouts, and I wrote this process out. And it's a very easy process to mentor those scouts, but it is a long process. It can take several months. So definitely, if you have a chance, check out that video. So those are incredible little pointers.
All right. Well, thank you for that. That discussion about mentoring Eagle Scouts, that could probably be in a best of the live stream video that you might do. All right. So Grant, who's joining us from New Zealand, said it's 1:15 on Monday afternoon.
Fantastic. We'd like to have Mark from England on, but holy cow, is it Big Man in the Woods? That's another channel that if you want to see some of the goings on of scouting over there, it's very well, obviously it's from England. It is amazing. That's kind of the beginning spot where the scouting movement really started going. They started there in 1907, where in the U.S. it was 1910, and that was to get incorporated. So that was, they were ahead of us. And it just seeing all the different things, they have divisions that they call them, and it's neat. All the different patches and stuff are different. Even their scout oath and their scout law are a little different. So that was a unique discussion I had with a Eagle candidate. They were talking. We got into a discussion about the scout law. In the United States, we use keywords. Everywhere else, I believe Canada has keywords, but everywhere else they have a speech that includes those keywords, so that they're reminded. So we use keywords. That's something we just do as Cub Scouts and as scouts. These are things that just come up as far as the scout law. And in other countries, they might not have 12, they might have 10. There's some that have 14. There are some that have 5. So these are things throughout the world. The WAMU, the big purple patch on our uniform, the World Organization of the Scouting Movement. That's the law and the promise. That's what they call their oath over there. So different areas will have different things. Australia is probably very similar to the British method. The British, I believe there's 2 organizations recognized. That our viewer from Australia can help us on that. But there are 2 different organizations in Australia, I believe. There's 2, and they have different structure to their stuff. And Mike's got this thing with England, and it is so neat to see, and how their structure works and how their districts work. It is just fascinating. And of course, being there, he gets to meet up with Bear Grylls and all those fantastic people that are with the British scouting. And it's amazing to see. So check out that channel too. That's an important one.
You know, Stan, as I watch the Big Man in the Woods channel, something that I find remarkable is a different country, but how similar things are.
Very. They have the same issues, leader burnout and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. And the same challenges, frustrations that are so similar. Hey, we have a bunch of questions.
Cool.
Better get these before we get too far behind. Scoutmaster Bucky, who's also a major inspiration for me, runs merit badge workshops. Did you know that if you buy a new uniform now, they will sew a Scouting America patch over the BSA at no charge?
That's cool. That's neat. That is neat. Scouting America is the new title branding. We've had different brandings for this movement here in the States, and everything from Boy Scouts of America, which we're incorporated as the organization, that is not going away per se. Okay, that's still there. That's just different branding, and we've called it what was it? Was Scouts of America, I think, was one. It just didn't roll right. I think that was one of the reasons. And then I think it was it Scouts BSA was another one. Different names, same thing, same core values are there. You still have the Scout Oath and Scout Law, and the core of scouting is still there. No matter what you brand it, that core value is still there. So I think it actually falls in line with a lot of the other the World Organization of the Scouting Movement. WOSM, I think, is the purple patch. They have a lot of different countries, so they'll say Pakistan scouting. That's something. Scouting of Pakistan. So it kind of falls in line with that. So Scouting America kind of falls in that realm, just for branding's sake, is so that it's kept consistent. So I think that's the real reason. It's nice to have a new patch to put on the uniform, but a lot of the uniforms are embroidered when they come off the line. They're put together with the embroidery. So and putting a patch over it, it's totally optional, I'm sure. I don't think I will find that option. These shirts last a long, long time. Okay. A lot of Cub Scout parents realize that when they are in Weeblos and they buy the tan shirts. The patches are different, epaulets are different, that kind of thing. But I always tell them, I says, make sure that you buy it too big. That's the important part, because your scout is going to grow. And when they get to 15, 16 in that troop, guess what? They are going to be in these tight shirts. These shirts, the shirt before this was, I think I retired it. It was probably almost 20 years old. So they do last a long time. And I wear this shirt 4 or 5 times a week. So it's a matter of just keeping it clean, keeping it ironed and sharp, and putting the patches on. Make sure when they're loose, you tie them down. They don't lose them in the laundry.
Well, we have a lot of questions here. Pin King 554, another frequent viewer of the live show.
Yeah.
It's been a year of chaos and scouting for him that's almost over. Been a wonderful ride in 2024. Okay.
That's right. I'm looking forward to 2025. It's hard to say. Man, this year went fast.
All right. Aaron Finley, another frequent viewer. Hello, everyone, from Troop 114,
Awesome.
Fort Scott, Kansas.
Kansas. Lovely. Bet it's cold there.
Aaron Finley has a question. Well, type your question in. Maybe you already have
Definitely.
as we get to it. Scoutmaster Bucky, the Scouting America name change is official on February 8th of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they're applying the branding to certain stuff already, but
True. I've already added to my email. I've got the little logo and everything. They sent that out, and it's, I put it on there just to keep current. If I don't, I'll forget. It's like the red button I didn't push.
Be quiet, dude.
Yeah, gotta make sure that gets on there. So,
all right, and let me see. Next question. Hello, Stan. Any advice for patch trading for a 13-year-old aspiring patch trader?
That is so cool. Patch trading is one of those great ways to really use your Scout Oath and Scout Law. When you are trading, you want somebody that's trustworthy, right? That's the very first Scout Law. So you have to be trustworthy, and that way that loyalty can build, and you can start that relationship when you're trading patches. When you're young, I think it's very important to have multiple scouts and scout leaders going through that process of really putting the Scout Law and the Scout Oath into action. And trading patches is a great way to do that. As far as being 13 and trading patches, try to see what you want to collect. Do you want to collect your lodge patches? Do you want to collect your camp patches, the patches only for your camp? Or are you trying to get patches that are national, something like jamborees, or something that's worldly, like World Jamboree? That's something you have to look into. There are patch trading, and lately I've seen a lot of people trading entire shirts, especially at the international events, which has all the stuff on it, all the the flag and the epaulets and everything. So that's involved, and I've seen people that actually buy small shirts, extra small shirts from the scout shop, and do them up and trade them. So that is something that actually is happening on the world market. I know that in England, Mark is big on woggles, the different woggles, different ones that he's made. I've sent him a few, and it's amazing all the different things that they have. Their patches are neat too. But patch trading, you have to focus on what you want, especially being young. And you might trade for that patch, and then that same exact patch in better condition might come along. And that's when you rotate it back into your trading stock and then go for that better patch. So definitely think about what you're doing and make sure that you're including the Scout Oath and Scout Law.
All right. So we have a question from Timothy. Question for you or anyone about why an honor is degraded. He might mean discontinued from the movement. An honor that is very close to his heart is the National Honor Patrol Award. Okay, yeah, sometimes they discontinue awards. I'm not sure what the process is. Sometimes they discontinue merit badges as well.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Deprecating different merit badges and things like that. The national, the National Patrol Award, I believe, is a little star that's added onto the patrol patch on the youth uniform. We have a video scripted, and nowhere could we find out if that was deprecated. It is still mentioned in all of the official paperwork and everything with national. So it's in the advancement guide. It's in the insignia guide. I mean, none of that's been deprecated out. None of that's been removed. So as far as we can tell, that program still exists, and it's just a star. It's a small patch, tiny patch that actually is added on to the patrol emblem on the Scout uniform. So that program is still around. I think it will always be around. Now, some things like cyberchip has been deprecated. It hasn't been removed per se. They've integrated those requirements into actual rank requirements. So that's the reason that patch is no longer available and why it's not mentioned in other national paperwork. So there's reasons, and when you're researching this stuff, it's so hard to find, and it's difficult. So we are going to go forward with a video on that patrol, that honor patrol, which is a national honor patrol emblem that they can add on to that patch. And the video has been scripted, and we are going to be doing the production pretty soon. So it'll be in this season. So definitely be looking for that.
Okay, I'll look forward to that video. Aaron asked a question: how do you feel about doing a crossover by the end of the year? Apparently one of his sons will be in town, back from the Navy, for a period before the end of the year, and wants to see his little brother cross over from Arrow of Light to the troop.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Work with the troop. The troop would be the one that Scout is going to. So that's the important scheduling part. So make sure that it's not put into a situation where they can only send small representation to your actual crossover. So work with the troops so that you get a big turnout from that troop. You want the new Scout that's going from Cub Scouts into Scouts BSA. You want to make sure that when they cross over to that troop, that there's lots of people from the troop there. You want to make sure that they're not just jumping into a small group. That can be kind of fearful. Make sure you get the crossover bridge and maybe even do candle lighting and all kinds of great programs that the pack can put together. Definitely look into it. There's a lot of crossover ceremonies out there. The process of getting from Cub Scouts into a troop is a wonderful coming of age kind of thing for a lot of youth. So it's very important that is emphasized. It's also a great photo moment. You got to take photos, and having the older brother there in uniform is wow. Okay. It is something you do not want to miss. So work on it with the troop to make sure that their schedule can accommodate receiving the Scout and having a big group there. That is really, really important.
All right. Hey, this is a great question. Randy asks, my council last held a University of Scouting in 2023. One was never planned for 2024 and probably not for 2025. It's difficult for adults to meet the requirements. So something that I would throw out, I hope everyone in Scouting is familiar with the Scouting event website. Mm-hmm. It lets you see what your council is doing. And I don't know how far you are from an adjacent council. Like in my case, we have a great but relatively small council, and it doesn't necessarily have some of the events that a larger council has. But you know, we're an hour and a half away from a much larger council that has University of Scouting and all this kind of stuff. So you might be able to do that with a nearby council, or if you call your council staff and want to help organize something, I doubt they'll say no.
You know, University of Scouting is one of those huge, they used to call it powwow long ago. And the University of Scouting is a wonderful way to get extra classes. These aren't actual training for position training for Scoutmaster or Cubmaster or any of that kind of position training. That's done through National. And when you're going to a university of scouting, you're getting training that you probably won't see anywhere else, like on knot tying or lashing or how to do a pot. What is that? The pot stoves that they have, for the fireplace. You can do all kinds of different things that are there, and other things that come up, like being a mentor to a youth towards Eagle. So that is something that's at University of Scouting. So, and always remember, you're a member of Scouting nationally, and you can go to any of these events as a scout. You are nationally a member of Scouting. When you pay that fee for your annual dues, that's the very first part of that is going nationally. So you can go anywhere. You can go to other districts, other councils. If you're out of state, you can go to different meetings and things. You're part of Scouting, and that's the key. And if there's training that they offer they don't have where you are, you may have to travel, you may have to move, but go places. So, but that's something that individually. So you're with Scouting nationally. You're a member of Scouting in the United States. It's a very important thing. So definitely look into training. Talk to your council and see if they can get it started. A lot of those University of Scoutings, they take up to a year to really plan out a good one. And there's different colleges. You have your youth college, and you have your different adult ones, and you have your commissioner colleges and so on. So you can have all different school type things that are in there with University of Scouting. So look into it.
Better unmute myself here. Scoutmaster Bucky, in response to someone asking about University Scouting, says contact him through his website. Bucky does a great job getting together scouting adults to organize things, and he has a website. You can check it out.
Neat. I believe. Can you put that in his thing in the chat? Can you put that link in there? Type it in.
I can type it in.
I want to get him on. I want to put him on.
Yeah, I'll type it in. I'll type it in here because I can do it under your login or as a moderator, but an individual, unless your moderator can't. Google will delete a chat that has a web link unless you're a moderator.
I believe you are set up as full moderator, so you can add a link to it. That's true with a lot of the settings on the other end of the keyboard. So that's something. But Scoutmaster Bucky, you're officially invited. I want you on the live show. That'd be great. That would be fun. Right. Okay, all you need is I got a really iffy camera. So
all right, we have another question from Timothy. Recently, I haven't seen Scout Patrols earning this award very much. Yeah. It was an easy award to earn, and yes, it is a small patch, but it's placed under the patrol emblem on the right sleeve. How nice.
Yeah, and you can earn it more than once. You can earn it several times. So, and it is, if you're doing it right, every patrol in your troop should have this. If you're doing it right. It may take some assistant scoutmasters to get involved, but this is an easy addition that they can get recognition for. So definitely look into it. We have a video coming up that's been scripted. I believe I was reviewing it yesterday just to make sure that everything was there, and I did check. I've looked. I don't believe it's been taken away, and everybody else is still talking about it. So nationally, so I don't believe it's out of circulation. It wouldn't be the first time. We have videos that are so old they may not be relevant anymore. So that does happen.
All right. And I think in the past you have had videos where you invite members of the channel to mentor others, and if you can cite a source for something, mention something. So Timothy, this comes from Scoutmaster Bucky. He has been a Scoutmaster for 20 years, and he challenges his SPL and patrol leaders each and every year to earn the illustrious Honor Patrol badge, and no one in his unit has ever earned it. Oh, wow.
Wow. Wow. They need to. If you're doing it right, And one of the big things about that is that you can challenge the scouts to look into it. But if they don't pick it up, do it, that's kind of theirs. And that's true with every rank advancement. That if they don't do it on their own and do it because they want to, they're not going to earn it. And that's true for every rank and this award. And that's true for a lot of stuff. You have to have that desire. And when you see the video, you will find out that it is not that hard.
Okay, and let me see. I have another one here. Timothy. Oh, okay. He's thinking that it might be removed, but I think you found, as far as you know, it's not been removed. It's maybe just not common. I guess I'm not familiar with that particular award. Is it listed in Scout Book somewhere?
It's in the handbook. It's in the standard handbook, and it is talked about in the patrol logbook. Now, that's where a lot of the requirements are actually specified, and there's worksheets in there on how to fulfill some of those requirements. These are really basic patrol method skills that need to be done by the patrol. Maybe have a patrol meeting. And a lot of patrols have no idea. They can have a meeting on just the patrol. It's not the whole troop, that the patrol can actually have a meeting. Of course, it's got to be 2 deep leadership. You have to have all the things that are required to do something like that. But having a patrol meeting, you can have patrol campouts. A lot of troops don't know that. This is big. Patrols could go camping. Just the patrol, just like the Eagle Patrol, they're going to go camping. Well, you can do that. You have to have the right amount of adult leaders and planning and all that kind of stuff. But that's possible. That's one of those big things that a lot of people don't really think about. The patrol method is built to have that spirit, that patrol spirit going, with the cheer and logos and different things that are going on. It is amazing how they miss out on that if they don't. This award really brings it out. But if the scout is able to do all that, it changes the youth-led parameters there. It is amazing. They will really get into it and really start progressing and start moving and start doing fantastic things. I've been to summer camp where the patrols actually moved into different tents so that their patrols were all together, so that when they yelled out, "The moose is on the loose," and they all stomped their feet, it's a really cool thing. You find this out in Wood Badge. Wood Badge has the different critters, of course, and we have our different patrols and our logos and stuff, and we do cheers, and it is that patrol method, and that's how to run a troop. It's not an option. It is actually the way to do it. I believe BP was famous for saying so. But yeah, definitely look into it.
All right, so we have. I think Bucky tried to send a link to that award, and he's not yet a moderator, so I think we'll have to see what we can do. I asked him to email it to me, and I can put it up.
Yes. You got the little wrench next to your name.
Got the little wrench next to my name. I think the way that I'll post it will actually be posted as you. But during the live show, I can post things, and it says it's from Stan.
Yeah.
But it's probably obvious that Stan's talking. He's not typing, but I am. So
I'm doing this in the background. No, I'm not that kind of. I'm a visual typer. This is my typing. I like this. So.
All right. So Randy said that Weeblos no longer wear the tan shirt until they reach AOL.
Okay. How about that? Well, Weeblos is what we used to refer to as first year. They were the first year Weeblos, and then they had a second year Weeblo for Arrow of Light. That was the old program. Now the new program, you have Arrow of Light. So that's the second part of Weeblos. So that's the I think it's fifth grade or sixth grade. Can't remember. I think it's fifth grade. They're going into Arrow of Light, and they wear the tan shirt. Now, they used to do it for both the Weeblos back in the day, but now I think it's all blue all the way up to Arrow of Light. So I think that's correct. I think that's the process. Now, what's interesting is the Cub Scout program has completely streamlined. This is something new. There used to be when you joined Cub Scouts, and you might relate to this, but when you joined Cub Scouts, you got your Bobcat. No matter where you were joining, no matter what group you were getting into, you did Bobcat, and that was it. Every single part of Weeblos, or excuse me, Cub Scouts has those things, including Weeblos and Arrow of Light. They have a Bobcat requirement in their stuff. So it's all streamlined. It's all together, all one piece. So it makes it a lot easier. Now it's actually more age appropriate for the Scouts joining. So Bobcat can be put in there, but that's the interesting thing about Cub Scouts. It's gone through a remix of the requirements and how everything works within Cub Scouting, which is fantastic. I think it's awesome. It makes it so much easier. So much easier. It used to be you had to have the book, and the book gave you a roadmap, and it was long. So it was a lot of work. And the parents, they like having that streamlined thing. That's been the feedback that I've been hearing a lot. Of course, there's been growing pains with any changes. So we always have to keep that in mind. Always.
Okay, let me see what we have. What else do we have for questions here? Okay.
Are we behind or are we catching up?
No, we have a lot of questions here. Bucky, hey, I appreciate your enthusiasm, Bucky, for first comment something and then said, no, that's not correct. So here's a correct answer. And he says, once December rolls around, you can cross over your Airflight Scouts. Crossover means officially joining the troop. Crossover process happens anywhere from December through March. Okay, so thank you for looking that up for us.
Yeah, that's true. Even in the South, we do a different schedule sometimes. Just ask anybody in the Order of the Arrow. It's amazing. But depending on, you wouldn't want to cross somebody over that's not ready. So, make sure that they are in that mode and have done all the requirements, and they're, that's very important. Some Scouts, for one reason or another, don't do the Arrow of Light or don't complete any of the Cub Scout stuff. That does not exclude them from crossing over. You can still cross over. You can still move into a troop. That is important. You may not be able to wear the Arrow of Light on your uniform because you didn't receive it as a Cub Scout, but that doesn't exclude you out of that crossover. So you can still cross over and be celebrated by your parents and all the people involved. And as you go into that troop, cross those parents over too. So they become your new scout leaders.
In fact, something that a lot of people don't realize, Stan, you can join Scouts BSA, the older Scouts, previously known as Boy Scouts, even if you haven't been in Cub Scouts. We recently had a Scout join the troop, our Scouts BSA troop, that was never a Cub Scout, and we're very excited to welcome him. So, yeah. Okay, so here's another question from the Roaming Scouter. If you are near Maryland, the National Capital Area Council hosts a commissioner's college in February and March. Last year, I witnessed 3 people who completed their doctorate in all 3 levels. Well, congratulations.
Fantastic. That is amazing. Our district does that too. We have one here in Central Florida. So that is amazing. All the different colleges and stuff. Usually your unit commissioners and the commissioners in general Um, that's a separate college. It is part of the Scouts university, Scouting University, but it it does have its own program. It has its own stuff. So it's a different thing, and that's for commissioners. But this is one of those areas where you're volunteers. You have different types or different. I don't want to say types. That's bad. I want to say that they're different levels that they are interested in. Their skills. If their skill set is with helping Cub Scouts, that's a Cub Scout type thing. And same thing with Scouts BSA, venture crews, Sea Scouts with the ships. There's different levels. Now, what's weird, this is the thing that a lot of people don't know. In fact, they might even have a myth about all this, is that commissioners are kind of in that gray area between your district or council and your units. They're the connection from your unit, whatever unit it is, all the way into your council. It's the connection. It's the information is conveyed through those commissioners. So commissioners, by nature, kind of is in their own little division. So, and then a lot of those commissioners are also on the district committee, and they do different things for that. They might not just be unit commissioners; they might be district commissioners. They might work with the council on commissioners' councils and different things that are involved in your area. So that's one of those structural things in Scouting BSA. Or what we call Scouting America. That is the one thing that a lot of people aren't familiar with. They may not even know that they have a commissioner. Every single unit does. That's how you got a charter, is you have to have a commissioner. So every unit has a commissioner, and there's not enough of us. There's not enough commissioners out there. We need more, and everybody that's in scout leading is qualified to be a commissioner. Just ask your district commissioner. They will help you out. They'll get you the training. They'll make sure that you get in there and get going with training. Commissioners are severely outnumbered. It's usually about 16 to 20 units per commissioner. There's a lot of need out there for commissioners. And yes, they have the Commissioners College. Yes, they have a doctorate of commissioners. They have different awards for just commissioners. So that's there. And you can join into that and be a part of that and be very helpful for a lot of the units in your area. Scouting progresses through commissioners.
All right, great. And I would just point out there's someone that recently asked a question that was kind of a half sentence. And I just say, to that viewer, if you can put your question in the form of a complete sentence, that way I can be sure what you're asking and Stan can respond to it.
Well, I'll go off on anything.
Okay. So Nimrod Diaries, another longtime participant to the channel, says, after watching Stan's history of Cub Scouting video, I've been working on a presentation based on our council's local history. And I volunteered to present. Sorry, I'm having people contact me with multiple streams and text messages and everything else. And then someone sent me an email from work. I volunteered to present at Roundtable. I'm not sure I want to. Hey, it would be great to present an interesting program like that at Roundtable.
Oh, yeah. Most roundtables, they start off with the whole group. Do it there, too. Don't just keep it for the Cub Scouts. Do it for the entire roundtable so that they all maybe even do a sneak peek for the beginning and get everybody to come from the troop level and the crew level. They can come over and watch the video, too, because they're involved in this. This is one of those things I want to really make sure that our audience and everyone understands. All of those members of your troop, your crew, your ship, they're coming from Cub Scouts. Okay. Most of them. There are exceptions, but most of them come from Cub Scouts. So it's important that we celebrate and understand what Cub Scouting is so that we can kind of think, oh, well, they've done that in Cub Scouting. So it's natural for them to do this. So that's the mindset. We need to make sure that the Cub Scouts, they're a very important part of the entire scouting program. We need to make sure that Cub Scouts is definitely part of our focus. And that's true. When you're watching a video on the channel and I'm talking about just stuff with a troop, you have to kind of think about it. You need to have your Cub Masters watch that too, because that's where your little Cubs are going to. They're going to go to that local troop. And that's the important end there. So we need to be thinking about it the other way. So where they came from, what their experience was. Two very big points. When that's true for all the videos. You need to watch them all.
Yeah.
There's
The pack
that are exclusive.
troops, every scouting unit needs to recruit. Otherwise, their unit won't be around.
That's
And the Cub Scout pack is the future of your Scouts BSA troop.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think
they're
you've
failing. Yeah, if they're failing, you're next on that list.
yeah, you're next on that list. And I think that you've had a number of videos talking about the importance of older scouts helping out the den, helping out the pack as den chiefs. And my kids just started as den chiefs just recently, so they're enjoying it very much.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. Fantastic.
Oops,
that is the key. That's the key. If you turn your den chiefs into your recruiters, you're doing good.
and this is the link that Scoutmaster Bucky attempted to post, but since he's not yet a moderator, we'll have to fix that. Maybe make him.
Yeah, we need to have him on. We need to bring him in.
Have him on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I posted this impersonating you, Stan.
That's
so
okay. I
here's
was
the
doing
link
it with my
for
other hand.
the National Honor Patrol. So, and so let me see. Let me go to the next.
Talk with my hands. Okay, I'm always hitting the mic. I'm bumping it. That back in the radio days, that drove a lot of people crazy. So, but
well,
yeah,
I'm trying to avoid bumping the microphone and mute it if I cough or tell the kids to be quiet. Okay, Roaming Scouter. The guidance has been, I think this is really great. If the scout is in Weeblos, 4th grade or above, and if they need a new shirt, buy a tan one.
Right.
Because
a big one.
No reason to have a blue shirt that you'll just use for another year.
Yeah, a big one.
and my advice is figure out what size fits your scout and get one 2 sizes larger, because kids grow.
They do, and fast. All of a sudden, boom! They're like, I mean, I recently saw a picture of Trump's kid. What's his name? What's his name? Barron. Did you see how much he grew in 4 years? Holy cow. That kid's almost 6 feet tall. Kids explode. And this is true universally. So I saw a picture of that. I couldn't believe it. So,
all right.
Yeah, big. You want a balloon on them, you know.
And Bucky says Bobcat is a part of each rank now in Cub Scouts. It's not a separate award.
That's right.
And it's about loop now, not a patch. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it used to be a pin. It used to be a pin, then it went to a belt loop. Now it's part of the program. So it's a belt loop now. Yeah.
Yep. I know there's been some changes in the Cub Scout program. Mm-hmm. Nimrod Diaries, a frequent viewer of the show.
Yeah.
2030 will be the 100th anniversary of U.S. Cub Scouting. All right.
Yes. That's our 100th anniversary. So that's coming up in what, 5 years? 6? Yeah.
So I didn't realize that Cub Scouts started 20 years after the Boy Scout movement.
1930.
Okay.
I have a video on Cub Scouts 101. It's all the history of Cub Scouting. And this is the neat thing. In 1930, the original Cub Scouting materials that came out, the den chief was the leader of that den. not the den. There was no den leaders, no adults. It was the youth actually running that. But that got changed. Within a few years, they started putting in den leaders, adult den leaders to actually do that. And it was den mothers that actually got in there to do that. And den mother was an actual pin. And if you see the video, you'll see a logo and everything. I mean, it was different. It was a different time. This is before World War II, and it was a different time. And the units that kept the den chiefs from a troop running those dens, they kept doing that, but the den mother was there also to work with them. So that was important to keep that in mind. So the history of Cub Scouting is fascinating. And Bobcat originally was one word. Then they separated it. That made if you collect those pins, that's a big deal. So,
all right, we have Rusty B. Hello, ScouterStan. Rusty, I wonder where you're joining us from.
I thought it was from Texas. I don't know.
Okay,
it might be.
Okay. Randy Jackson says Stan is right. Serious shortage of commissioners.
Yes.
Stan has a commissioner not on his shirt. Yes, he does. I believe you're a district commissioner in the
where is it? Oh,
Central Florida Council, is it?
Yep. And I've got the arrowhead thing. That's a tenure thing. And I wear the neighborhood unit commissioner patch from the 50s. They've never decommissioned it. And I had so many units, I qualified. So I've never taken it off. It was given to me by my father. So I think that's it's appropriate to have it there.
All right. I'm just looking at. Okay, here we go. So many questions sorting through. Well, we're actually getting close to the end. Hey, Bucky, my original intention was a short. Okay, so Nimrod Diaries is talking about putting together a speech on the history of scouting. Mm-hmm. As he's thinking about presenting it at the Blue and Gold banquet, which is the crossover ceremony. When Scouts cross over from Cub Scouts to Scouts BSA, that would be great.
Yep.
And hey, that sounds cool.
We have I think we have I forget what they call it, a playlist. I think the playlist on history of scouting. Then of course it's got all those in there. And you're getting, I think some of them like Sea Scouts, explorers, these are things that you don't hear too much about. Those are other, as the British would say, there are other divisions out there. That's, learning for life is part of the scouting process, part of that. And these are for much older youth. Okay. That's one of those things about explorers and how that actually works. And the explorers is amazing. There's a video on just the history of explorers. There used to be air explorers that actually flew planes. And I believe the National Museum has a call out for collectors that if you have an air explorer's uniform, they want to talk to you because that uniform is not represented in their collection. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of history. Gosh, there's so much history.
I recall that they're not even certain what the uniform looked like.
It was blue.
Oh, okay.
There's drawings, and I believe there's a photograph, but that's it. There are some patches. They look like wings. They're that actually with a big E on it. Because of insurance, they couldn't continue. No insurance company would underwrite it, so it had to go. But that was back, I believe, the last brigade, I think, is what they were called, folded in the 1950s. So, yeah.
Okay. Nimrod Diaries has a humorous potential slogan for den leaders: breaking up sibling fights at scout meetings since 1932. Okay. Humorous.
I like it. I like highly organized chaos.
Yeah. All right. Bucky earned the Commissioner Arrow Award years ago.
Awesome.
He was told by an even more tenured scouter that he could not wear the patch unless he was an active commissioner. Is that true? What is the Commissioner Arrowhead Award?
The Arrowhead, I think it's on the wall here. It's the red, white, and blue one. This one. It's actually you get a nice little diploma and stuff. You have to service so many units for a period of time. I believe it's 4 years, and that's the award. What's interesting is that they had very similar ones for in the past. Now we're talking the 1940s and before that. They had gold ones that were actually, I believe, those were earned by executives. They were new, and they were actually crossing over from the Commissioner Corps, which actually predates all the professionals in scouting. All of those volunteers predates the Corps of commissioners, and they had a bronze one and a gold one, and they went in a different order, and that was the interesting thing about the scouts at that point. So they had a very different order. There's a lot of history in it. Some of that is some of the details escape me, but it's the gray hair. That's what I believe it on.
All right. Rusty B mentions he's joining us from the Buckeye Council in New Philadelphia, Ohio. And he also has a question. Do you have any material stating about when the position of Cubmaster started? How long have Cubmasters been around?
I believe they started right at the beginning in 1930. I believe that the Cubmaster was kind of the they were often depicted as the person in the middle with the big whip and all the lions around them. they were the master of ceremonies. They took care of all of the things for the entire pack. So that was kind of how they were depicted often. And but I believe Cubmasters have been around since the very beginning. So you got to have someone that's running that pack. And I believe the den leaders were there, but they were not necessarily part of the physical dens. They were there that's another thing. I'm using the wrong term for that time. In the 1930s, they didn't have den leaders. They had den moms. They were called, or den mothers. That was the terminology. So only females were allowed to be a den mother, and it was exclusive, and that was true through until the 50s. And even into the 60s in some areas. So it was a long time that was den mothers and a cub master. So it was a different structure than we have today. And it grew out of Baden-Powell's Howl book about the howl, and talking about how if you're familiar with the Cub Scout stuff, a lot of the early days was based on the Jungle Book and Baloo and all those characters from Jungle Book. They're still even with us today. And this is something that happens quite often in scouting. We have to get with the times, and understand it. But the core values, the core essence is still there. So that's the key to understanding a lot of the history from scouting. It can be quite complex, and that's true with anything. But with scouting, the history of it is so rich, and there's so many different things in scouting, and that's why I collect patches. There's some patches that are just like, wow, I never thought the patch would be designed that way. Wow. As that does happen. So.
All right, Nimrod Diaries is bidding us farewell for the evening. He apparently will be dealing with lake effect snow in Michigan tomorrow.
Oh my.
So it sounds like quite a... I'm happy that we have, where I live in Minnesota, we have yet to get any any significant snowfall. A little bit.
You still got single digits. It's cold.
Well, it gets colder than single digits here. Yeah.
Sometimes
For anyone joining us from a place that uses a metric system, we're at, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably negative 15C right now. Okay. Randy sends a question. As a Scoutmaster in 2001, it amazes me that today Scouts don't hang with friends at their houses. Online is how they socialize.
Yes. We have an issue with screen time. A lot of the young people have that issue. They're looking at their cell phone constantly. And hopefully with scouting, we can kind of break that habit. I was recently, I think it came up earlier, was going over a script for the Patrol Awards, that it's a National Honor Patrol Award. And it talks about having patrol meetings. The actual patrol members meet together as a patrol, not at the troop meeting. This could be at one of the scouts' house. Now, of course, you got to have the 2 deep leadership and all that stuff, but that actually is one of the requirements. They have to have these meetings, and that's in order to get this award. And we'll talk about it more in that particular episode. But I'm hoping that over time, scouting will actually break that habit of isolating with your cell phone 24/7. We have a severe problem with scouts attached to screens, whether it be a tablet, an iPhone, or any kind of mobile phone. We have that problem, and it's not just here; it's all over the world. We need to get the youth more involved. Get that eye contact going, and make sure that they understand people. It's very easy on a cell phone to start bullying somebody you don't know, and this becomes a huge issue. And we talk about that in youth protection training. So we need to get youth used to putting their phones in camp mode. And what that means is and every phone, by the way, has a camp mode. Just like airplane mode, there's a camp mode on your phone. A lot of people don't know that. And a lot of youth have no idea. If you put it in camp mode, this is probably the first time it's ever happened with a youth's phone. It's very simple. You hold down the power button until it doesn't make any noise or lights up. That's camp mode. Okay. It's called off. Turn it off. I highly recommend camp mode on phones. Phones are important. It's important to have that communication device, but it cannot be a substitute for people. It cannot be that. And we need to make sure that our youth understand. They need to meet with other youth, other peers, and understand how to work together, how to do the patrol award. These are things that we do in scouting, and just to help our youth become better Americans. That's huge. And that being the case, understand I'm joking when I say they don't just go over and turn somebody's phone off. Okay. I'm just saying camp mode is the preferred mode at a meeting. Okay. So I've got mine on silent camp mode. Sometimes you can't.
All right.
Think you muted. Hang on.
I'm muted. Yes, I was.
I saw the little mute thing come up right there.
Okay, the Roaming Scouter in Northern Virginia. We just started an Explorer post at a local airfield to get teens interested in flight and STEM.
Very cool.
The STEM Nova Awards, that's a big thing.
Sure is.
Big thing for me. We're having a STEM Nova Award. There's an assistant scoutmaster that's also a physics professor at a local university. Mm-hmm. He and I are going to do a STEM thing. Yes, back to Roaming Scouter, they asked for support as a commissioner. So learning about how this can occur. In scouting, we have the aviation merit badge.
Yep. Yeah.
which is one way to learn about flight. There's
Yep.
a couple STEM Nova awards that also relate to flight.
True.
These are really important career-related
And I
things
believe
know.
that there's also Learning for Life has an Explorer division for air travel. I believe that's one of the big things they talk about. They have that actual division. So Learning for Life is actually that's we're talking anywhere from I believe 16 to 21. That's a much older group, and with Learning for Life, which is explorers basically. So, so that would be awesome. You get some of the adult leaders in there also signed up as merit badge counselors because the aviation merit badge is an awesome one. So
that was one of the first merit badges that my kids did. It was
mine too.
The adjacent council did it at an airport. It was very engaging.
Yep.
Question from Randy. Randy says that he had a den mother when he was in Cub Scouts in the 1960s, and she made brownies. Okay, great.
That's awesome. They also had that hat, that elongated garrison hat with the blue and it was amazing. Okay, they had some pretty neat uniforms back then, very neat and tidy, and had the little badge and everything on it. My mom was actually a den mother, so my own mother was that.
All right. Bucky said he's finding scouts starting to accept turning their phones off. Yep, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very unusual for a lot of scouts. And there's anxieties and all kinds of problems that our youth are having by disconnecting, and it's only an hour for a meeting. Okay. So they can turn it on in the car, but they have that anxiety because they're used to checking whatever, the tic tac and all the other stuff that's out there that drives you nuts because they're constantly looking at that. You can't get their attention if they're staring into a phone. That's not a good thing. And we need to make sure that they can learn how to turn it off. Just saying. Just my own opinion.
Aaron says, good night, everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yes.
We'll do this again on the first Sunday night of January. In
2025. I just can't get over. This year went too fast. Very fast.
Light Guy 911 remembers that in the 1980s there were also den mothers. They wore a blue blouse and skirts. Okay.
Yep. White shirt.
I was
yellow tie too. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I recall when I was in Cub Scouts that the den mothers were yellow. So, all right. Well, that's all we have for questions. And I think we have another one.
Okay.
Next year's summer camp will be Daniel Boone in North Carolina. No self-service there.
Yes, and you take the phone and you charge it up just for photos. You don't have to be checking your Instagram and all the other stuff that's distracting. So that's the important bit. So we're gonna call it quits, right? We're gonna move on.
On cell phones, I personally think it's really great for adult leaders to have a cell phone at camp just for the safety situation.
Yeah.
But it can be too much of a distraction if the scouts have it.
Sure can. In fact, I believe in my video on homesickness, I went through an entire situation that could actually get a lot worse because there is a cell phone available. And that's something that the scout needs to have, that experience, that separation away from their family. They are eventually going to have that. And you want to do that in a very safe and controlled environment so that the scout can actually go through that separation. Every scout, me too, all scouts go through that missing of family and home and mom and dad and all that. They have to go through that. And sometime now, the worst time to do that is going off to college out of state. Okay. I believe you should do it in the troop when you have all these highly trained leaders around, watching out for that scout, and being there for that scout, so that they can go through that process and learn from it. This is something that everyone goes through. That separation anxiety. That's normal. When you're dealing with a phone, that's not so normal, but it has the same traits. So we need to do it in a safe way, in a kind way, and being courteous and friendly in that process. They need to know that those are things that need to happen. Scout meetings and camps. A lot of camps are too far away from any kind of cell service. So it's just not going to happen. But even 911 will get through. They have special links apparently for emergencies.
My first year as an adult at summer camp, there was a case where I pulled up my cell phone. I was the only adult present, and a kid sliced his hand open, and I just pulled up my cell phone, called the camp office, and I said, I got a scout passed out with his hand cut open. Can someone come here and help me?
Yeah.
And, I was very glad that I had it. So
that's good. That's good. I mean, you need that backup. A lot of units will even have walkie-talkies,
that's a great thing too.
But you also have to balance that, because you're in the woods. You've paid to be there. You don't want the thing going off every 5 seconds, and for whatever reason, unless it is an emergency like the one you were in. Most of the time, it's not an emergency. It just becomes a nuisance. So that's that balancing act of being courteous. That's that balancing act of being friendly to all the other scouts that paid to travel there, be there in the woods. They didn't come there to listen to your funny beep beep beeps on your phone. Okay. And that's the whole thing. We could do a whole show on that.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to put up, Bucky made a $50 donation to the channel. Super chat. Thank you much, so much, Bucky. So
I might buy that camera a little faster. I need a new camera.
I think he's a very enthusiastic recent member. So.
Oh yes, and Bucky, the invitation is open. So if you want to jump in, and we can actually invite you to be one of the little screens that come up, and that's something that Mike can push a button and make it happen. This is something that we can definitely do, and I'd love to have you on and hear from you all the different things that you know about, and bring that into our discussion. This channel is here for adult leaders. The youth do watch the videos. They do. And we have youth that actually jump in on the live stuff too. So they're here. It's all scout appropriate. That's fine. But this channel is designed for the adult leaders to really learn from and use the videos to be inspired and to do things and to help our scouts progress and do things that you'd never imagined. They never imagined that they could do. That's the beautiful thing about scouting. We can actually be that conduit, that thing that's there for them to succeed. We can take their dependency on electronics and being distraction down so that they can actually be inspired to do even more and do great things. I've had so many Eagle projects that I've reviewed. Our district currently has, I believe, almost 60 projects going right now. And it is amazing, all the service they're doing for the community. It's just incredible, And every unit, all the different districts throughout the United States, all throughout America, are doing this for the community. It is just a wonderful thing. In that process, we're actually creating fantastic leaders for tomorrow. These are the people that are going to run your hospital. These are the people who are your firefighters, your policemen in the military, running businesses. That's the beautiful thing about scouting is that we're creating the leaders of tomorrow. And we want them to have those moral and situations and live by the scout oath and scout law. We want that. That's the incredibly important part of scouting. And this channel is just one of many. There's so many great channels out there. Please, if you have a channel you think is great, let me know. Put it in the comments. I will see it. I do go through my comments. So, and this channel is fantastic. We have such great members of our team, and we have such great subscribers and people that get involved. We have people like Mike, who does this voluntarily out of his own schedule to read over all the comments and keep me on track. It's awesome. And this time of year, I am so grateful for all of you. And I wish you all such a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And happy Hanukkah to my Jewish friends. And then a lot of different thoughts go out to you for being there and being part of scouting and being a part of this magical channel. It's amazing to me. I'm truly blessed, and I'm truly glad to be with all of you. And I wish you all a wonderful 2025. Golly, it's hard to say. It's been a great year. It's been a fast year. It went quick. So, but definitely hang on in there. And I think we're going to call it a wrap. Okay.
Yeah. Hope we'll have peace on earth in the new year.
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? That would be fantastic. Keep it in the prayers. That's what I do. So until next time, I hope to see you all on the trail.